Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, third and fourth graders. In writing class over the next few weeks, you are going to become research paper writers. And over this week, we are going to be looking at 4 different countries in the form of a nonfiction book. And we're going to be discussing and looking at the features in these books and how to get information on countries. Now, unfortunately, we are not able to use actual books when you do these research papers, but they are going to be helpful right now for you to just kind of get the idea of what types of things you could be looking for, because you will then be researching states. So I want you to get the idea of how to use a book, not a book, but how to use information to be able to eventually write out a research paper. So you can see here, my first book for today is on Australia. Each day this week, you are going to see one from a different country. We're going to be taking a look at certain parts of the book, not the entire thing. Please make sure you're following along and then doing the assignments that go with each one afterwards. So first of all, I want to point out to you on the world map, you can see Australia is on the bottom there. And Australia is quite far away from us. It would take us about a 20-hour plane ride to get there. They are way south of Asia, so on the other side of the world from us. And if you want to look at a world map, you can Google one also to get more details on that. All right, I'm going to leave, again, like I said, I'm going to read you sections. So first I'm going to read a small section from page 5 through 9. So it says, Australia. The world's smallest continent, Australia, is located south of the equator. So remember, this line right here is our equator, and they are just south of it. Because of its location, Australia is often called the land down under. This land mass is just a little smaller than the United States. Australia covers almost 3 million square miles. More than 20 million people live on this continent. Australians enjoy the warm climate and the unique plants and animals that make up the land down under. Now you notice on here we have a bolded word, text feature we've talked about in the past, and then we have a caption for the map on the bottom of the page there. Here's our first section, climate. Northern Australia has a tropical climate all year. This hot area has a wet and a dry season. During the wet season, about 60 inches of rain falls. That's a lot of rain. But the most rain falls along the east coast. Australia's middle, made mostly of deserts, is the driest part of the continents. Called the outback, this area gets less than 10 inches of rain yearly, so far, far less. You can see on the page here the wetter 60-inch area versus the drier outback 10-inch area, very different looking. Southern Australia has a mild climate with warm summers and cold winters. Most areas get more rain than the outback. Landforms. So here is a landform map of Australia. You can see there. In the east, the Great Dividing Range towers over Australia's flat land. These tall mountains separate the wet east coast from the rest of Australia's dry lands. Australia's most important rivers begin on mountains. The Darling River flows from the Great Dividing Range to join the Murray River, which begins on the Australian Alps. Little water flows in the deserts that cover Western Australia. The Great Sandy, Gibson, and the Great Victoria deserts are found there. You can see all of that on the map. Okay, now I'm going to skip to another section. Animals. You can see a few popular animals on there you might be able to recognize. Okay. The bottom one is called an emu. This is an emu. Obviously, we have our kangaroo and our koala. Australia is home to many unique animals. These animals roam freely only in Australia. Kangaroos hop across deserts while koalas sleep in eucalyptus trees. These and other marsupials live only on this continent. Australia's emus can't fly, but these large birds can run fast. The Great Barrier Reef is home to thousands of unique sea creatures. Located off Australia's east coast, it is the largest coral reef in the world. Here, colorful rabbitfish swim past giant clams. A little bit of information we learned then about animals there. Then we're going to skip ahead to a section on the people of Australia. You're heading there. You've got a picture of the people, map of Australia, and then there is a population density that goes with that. We looked at something kind of like that in social studies once, where it shows where more people live versus less people. Australia is the least populated continent except for Antarctica. 20 million people live in Australia. Most Australians live in the cities near the southeastern coast. So that's way down on there. You can see where the darker colors are. Aborigines were the first Australian people. Europeans began moving to Australia in the 1700s. Today, European language and religions are a big influence on this continent. Christianity is the main religion. Australians speak a version of English called Strine. Some Australians still speak Aboriginal languages. Today, about 20 of these languages are used. Aborigines would be kind of comparable to our Native Americans, people who originally were there. Living in Australia. Most Australians live in apartments or houses. Many houses include an outdoor area for having a barbecue. At barbecues, Australians cook meat and seafood on grills. Australians wear clothes that match the climate they live in. In the tropical north, they wear loose, colorful clothes. In the south, people wear t-shirts and shorts during the summer. During the colder winter, they wear warm pants and jackets. So you can see in each section, they have the title or heading that tells you what each section is going to be about. So if you wanted to know specifically about animals, you would open up, see if there's a table of contents, and you can see animals is on page 13. So then I would move to page 13 if I had wanted information on animals. When you do your research online in about a week or so, you're going to have to actually type out certain things that you're specifically looking for because you can't look for it in a book. But if you had an opportunity to, this is what it would be like. So what I need you to do now is go to Google Classroom, and there is going to be a sheet that you're going to fill out for each country that we discuss. About what you might have learned, or a comparison to something that we may have talked about the day before. So please make sure you get that taken care of. And the next country we will be on for tomorrow's lesson is going to be Kenya. All right, see you guys later.